Hi everyone. So today I want to talk about some tips and tricks that I found useful when it comes to learning a new instrument. In particular, today I'll be talking about the mandolin, but this basically applies to lots of other instruments as well, like guitar or piano, drums, anything like that. Alright, so for first tip, which may be the most controversial tip, is do not learn songs from tabs. I know when I was a beginner, I used tabs a lot. I think tabs have their place in the really early stages of learning an instrument, but later on, I think they're actually more a hindrance than a help. The reason being is that when you're using tabs, you're not really listening to the song. It kind of gets you into a different mindset. When you try to learn a song by listening to it, first of all, you're actively listening to the song, listening to the different melodies, and trying to figure out the notes for it. But I feel like it kind of develops your musical mind in a different kind of way. So what I do is that I'll play a song and I'll just try to find what key it's in, but what are the chord changes in that song, and then if there's different melodies, I try to listen to it and try to play it along on the instrument. After a while, you kind of get before you even pick up your instrument, you'll kind of hear the notes, and you can almost kind of tell right away what notes they are on the instrument. I think that's when you really develop a good sense of music and a good sense of your instrument as well, kind of knowing how notes sound on your instrument. Alright, second trick is to play with people, as in play in a band. I mean, play with people in a certain kind of way. So when you're playing with someone, you should really be listening to what the other person is playing and kind of feeding off, and vice versa, the other person should be listening to what you're playing, and you guys kind of feed off of one another. The best result is when everyone's listening and complimenting each other's playing. Even the drummer playing off the drummer, or the drummer playing off what I'm playing, with the singer, of course. The voice is the most important. The vocal melody is probably the most important part of the song. So playing off of what the singer's doing is really important. I've played with some people where they kind of just do their own thing and they don't really listen to anyone. They just want to play their riff or whatever, and it's not really musical, and it kind of shows when you're playing in a live setting or recording setting. Alright, so the third tip is to use proper playing technique. And I just want to make a disclaimer, I don't claim to be an expert in this, but I do have some perspective because my first instrument was guitar, and then when I started learning the mandolin, I had to kind of rethink how I go about playing and my technique for playing. So some differences between the guitar and mandolin that I use and I just want to say, I learned all this from Chris Thiele. I hope you know Chris Thiele if you play mandolin. He's probably the best mandolin player out there. But what he recommends, when it comes to the right hand, keeping it really loose. It's really useful when it comes to tremolo picking. So you don't, and also what he recommends is kind of loosening up your hand. Don't go like this. That doesn't really make for a good sound. But just kind of be really loose. Keeping your whole arm, shoulder, hand loose, everything loose. And you just go ahead and pick pretty lightly as well. One thing that I do is that I turn the pick. So instead of using the pointy end of the pick, I use the shoulder, so the round part. And I find it easier with the double strings in the mandolin. I actually use this for guitar now too. I never play with the sharp end, the pointy end. Alright, so another tip that I could give to improve your playing, whether it's mandolin or guitar or any other instrument, is to play different instruments. And not only different instruments, but different categories of instruments. So to me, I would put like a mandolin, guitar, kind of in the same category. But I recommend, if you can, to learn or pick up the bass or learn drums, or just, you don't have to be an expert at them, but kind of dabble in them. What I used to do with my band is sometimes we would just switch instruments. So I would hop on the drums, the drummer would hop on the guitar, and even if he didn't know how to play guitar, but he would play along, and it gives us each other a different perspective. I think it's really important. Okay, so the final tip I'll give today is to listen to lots and lots of music. and lots of different types of music. So growing up, I would say the Beatles were my favorite band. Listening to them, and then listening to a band like Rush, which is also a band that I love. Very different bands. Beatles are really, I would say, more melody oriented and song oriented. Rush is more technical oriented. It's kind of almost like an intellectual exercise, each song. And listening to bands like that, to two different bands like that, has kind of given me my own style, I think, and makes me appreciate different parts of a song. So the Beatles have really taught me the importance of melody, and especially vocal melody. And so when it comes to guitar or mandolin playing, I hope to think that I kind of add to that, to the vocal melody of the song. And when it comes to songwriting as well, kind of different structures of a song. And when it comes to a band like Rush, they've helped to see the importance of having proper technique and kind of playing complicated music well and still sound very musical. So I just recommend, keeping a broad spectrum of music that you listen to and not be too narrow-minded. Given that I play guitar and mandolin, I'm more gravitate towards music like that. But my fiance, she likes to listen to rap and hip hop stuff sometimes, and that gives me a different perspective as well. Listening to songs that are really rhythm heavy, and where the rhythm section is, really critical to the song, gives me a different perspective, and it comes out in my playing. Okay, so I hope you found this useful. Like I said, these tips and tricks, they could relate to many different types of instruments. If you have any questions, I'd be glad to answer them in any future videos, and let me know if you want to see more of this type of video. Okay, take care, bye.